everybody, and welcome back to another video with Brooklyn. So we're going to jump right into the video. Tonight I'm here to do a part 2 of a video I did last week on Derrick Jackson. He cheated on his wife, Dania Jackson, for all of their marriage. For those of you out here who do not know who Derrick Jackson is, he is a famous YouTuber who specializes in giving women advice on their relationships, okay? He gives very good advice. And now I know why, because he's experienced. Everything that he's been telling us women not to allow our men to do to us is what he was doing to his wife. And I firmly believe that he was doing those things to her and using it to build his platform. And I believe that he got a kick out of it. It was a turn on to do those things to her and then come to other women and tell them, don't let your husband do these things to you that I'm doing to my wife, that you all just don't know that I'm doing. So when you look at it, he was abusing his wife mentally and emotionally, but his women followers were being abused as well because they were being manipulated into believing that he was a good wife. I mean, a good husband, excuse me, a good husband. He was even able to convince some of his female followers to have affairs with him to the point that he impregnated at least one of them and she had an abortion, okay? So not only is his wife being affected by this, but the women that he abused sexually and emotionally, they have been affected as well. Even though his wife, you know, she's up at the forefront. A lot of these women say they did not know that he was married, actively living with his wife, you know. But at the end of the day, they were all affected. He abused all these women. He took advantage of his clientele that entrusted him with their deep, dark secrets, looking for help in their relationships. He took advantage of them. And he took advantage of his wife. Okay? So I read one of her writings in my first video last week, and I'm going to read another one. Excuse me if I stumble over words. I worked all day, and you know, so I'm a little tired, but I'm going to read this, so just bear with me, okay? Then I'll come back with the rest of my commentary. So it says here, someone asked her the question, how do you deal with all the attention your husband gets from all the women? You're so strong, I applaud you. She named this truth testimony, okay? It says here, Dania Jackson, truth. Before the public at large became a part of my life, I had low confidence, high insecurities, and was tormented 24/7 by the spirit of compassion and haunted by the sister spirit of obsession. Furthermore, childhood experiences created a root of bitterness, rejection, which fed the spirits of can't give love and can't receive love. Demons plagued my life in these areas over 2 decades. Fast forward to being wife of a sensational, electrifying, charming, first-class, creatively superb genetic specimen of a man. The combination of poor self-esteem from childhood experiences and adult experiences skyrocketed with fame. So I never handled the attention he received with ease of grace. I would get my face beat by the best makeup artist. I visited women's pages that he liked, commented back to, and had prior flings with, and obsessed over how they did their hair. So she said she would get her makeup done by the best makeup artist, visit women's pages that he liked, commented back to, and had prior flings and obsessed over how they did their hair, how they dressed, how they spoke, the interests they had, and tried to mimic aspects of them to keep his attention. And the only thing I couldn't mimic to perfection is being the perfection of having dark, supple skin. Secretly, I did these things, and publicly, I wore a mask. I grasped onto fake confidence using lyrics from songs and compared myself to every woman except the woman of God, as it is written in Proverbs 31. My testimony: after being oppressed by the demons of comparison, obsession, can't give love, can't receive love, rejection, bitterness, for over 2 decades, deliverance came when I was educated on that fact that demons are actual and factual. I had them in me. I was invaded by some as early as 3 years old. And last that there was a solution called deliverance by the Holy Spirit and the blood of Jesus, who paid for my freedom when he shed blood on the cross. I overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony. So I come as I am, unafraid, posting good, bad, ugly, and uglier photos, because I know who I am in Christ, who sustains my esteem, confidence, ability to receive and give love. If I overcame, so can you by the healing power of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Deliverance is yours. Receive it in Jesus' mighty name. Now, first of all, she's saying that she's been delivered. No, she hasn't. Because if she had high self-esteem, high confidence in herself, she would not let this knucklehead dog her out the way he dogs her out. Okay? She has not been delivered, because God does not deliver you and leave you in an abusive relationship. Okay? This is a picture of her, Danae. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. That's her. She has a very bad problem with dark-skinned women. Both of these writings that I read last week and today, she states that she has a problem with dark-skinned women, okay? She finds them beautiful and just sensuous, I guess, and he does. So she tries to compete with dark-skinned women. The women that I've looked at that he was having affairs with, some of them were very light. So I don't really think that she has a problem with dark-skinned women because of her husband. I think she has a problem with dark-skinned women just because she has a problem with dark-skinned women. Because some of his girlfriends that he was having affairs with were extremely light-skinned. Okay? She's even made the comment that she hated her own children because they were dark-skinned. So she has a problem with dark-skinned women. Now, what happened? I don't know, because I haven't read that on her page. But my point is that if you are delivered, right, and you have high self-esteem and God holds your self-esteem, he delivered you by your testimony, by the blood of the Lamb, then you should not be letting this rascal dog you the way he's dogging you. She said that she knew that he was having affairs and she was called to this time. God does not call you to a time to let your husband abuse you or to let your wife abuse you. A marriage is a covenant, okay? God takes marriage very seriously. He holds marriage in high esteem. He does not expect this woman or anyone else, woman or man, to be abused in a marriage, okay? This man has manipulated her so bad that she actually believes that she's supposed to take this. She's supposed to stand by him and allow his behavior, okay? This man told her that he has not had an affair in 6 months, that he gave his life to Christ. On her Instagram page, you see him in a picture in the background praising God in church and all this. But just 2 weeks ago, on March 19th, 2021, he was at his mistress' house. But he told his wife, who has high self-esteem and high confidence, and Jesus Christ holds her in high self-esteem, he's delivered her, that he hadn't had an affair with anybody in 6 months. This man has brought his mistresses into her home, and they slept in her bed with her husband. You cannot tell me that this woman has high self-esteem and high confidence. It's no way. It's no way. We already struggle as women anyway. We struggle. You know, we struggle with our weight. We struggle with our complexion. You know, we struggle with just different things in life. Your job, you know, we just struggle with all kinds of things. But when you go home, you want to be able to go home to a safe haven. You want to go home to a man who's going to love you, who's going to protect you, who's going to protect your mental state, your emotional state, your physical being. That's why God put husbands and wives together. You're supposed to help each other, not tear each other down. You know, she was with him when he had nothing. Now he's a big YouTuber making all kinds of money. And now, this is what you do. I'm sure he was cheating on her before they got married, because according to her, he cheated on her through the whole relationship. But she was with him when he had nothing. She's still with him now, but God has not ordained her to do. I don't see it. If you're a Christian and you go by the Bible, in the Bible, Jesus Christ says you can leave your spouse for adultery. He's not going to tell you to leave your spouse for adultery and then turn around and tell you, but I called you to go through this. That's contradictory. It's contradictory. Okay? He's not going to tell you one thing and then turn around and change it and tell you to do something else. He does not change his mind. Once he speaks it, that's it. I said you can leave because of adultery. Now, use your common sense. He don't just mean just adultery, but you take all the other nonsense. If you're being mistreated physically, mentally, emotionally, it's just not there. They're doing you. You are not supposed to be in a marriage and you're lacking. If you're in a marriage and it's tearing you down to the point that you are just losing yourself, he don't have to cheat. She don't have to cheat. If you're not happy because you are lacking, you can leave. When he made that statement, this is a whole conversation. We don't know what else took place in that conversation when they asked him that question. But God gives everyone common sense. You don't stay with somebody and let them abuse you, but because they're not cheating, you got to stay. You have to stay with them because they're not cheating, but they're doing everything else. They won't work. They won't clean the house. They popping you upside the head. They on drugs. They alcoholic, whatever. But he's not cheating, so I have to stay. She's not cheating, so I have to stay. Use your common sense. In this case, he was cheating. He's a big liar. He can't be trusted. So you know he was not a man of God for her to stay with him in the first place. He could have brought her any kind of disease, and who knows? She may have contracted the disease, and we just don't know. She may not tell that. She may not tell that. I know that Jesus Christ is not going to tell you that you can do one thing and then change his mind and say, do this. You can leave for this, but I called you to go through it. He's not going to do that. He does not change his mind. He said he's not a man that he should change his mind. He does not change his mind. God does not change his mind. When he said it, that's what he means. That's what he means. He doesn't change his mind. She is being misguided. She is being misled. She's giving false information. And who's ever talking to her, whether it's a physical person or a spiritual person talking to her spirit, they're giving her false information. Her self-esteem is very low. It's very low to the ground. She's saying that she's been delivered and she is just, feeling, no, she's not. No, she's not. She's in bondage. She's not happy. If you all seen the videos on YouTube, she's not happy. That's bondage. Because if God called her to it, she wouldn't be sitting around miserable. You can look at her and see she's miserable. Anybody would be miserable in that. But she wants to stay with her husband. That's her right. But he's not going to stop cheating. He's not going to stop. And then he's trying to sell his books with this. Buy my books. I talk about this in my books. If it wasn't for you all talking about himself in the third person, if it wasn't for you all women out here putting this young man on a high pedestal, he wouldn't have cheated. But it's him. But he's talking about somebody else. Then she describes him as this superhuman being. What about her? She's a lowly peasant. Don't no one that love you mistreat you like that. Yes, you have disagreements. Yes, you're going to argue. Yes, you're going to fight. But when you love someone, you don't want to sleep with someone else. You can't even phantom it. I hate when people tell me, oh, I love my girl. Yeah, I cheat, but I love my girl. No, you don't. I love my husband. I cheat, but I'm not leaving my husband because I love my husband. No, you don't. Use a hoe and you want to cheat and you want to stay with the person because they letting you stay because they got low self-esteem right now. Because when they turn around and cheat on you, then you want to fight and kill and holler. Because it don't feel good. But as long as you doing it and you can get away with it, I love my husband, honey, huh? I know I slept with the Deontay. I know I did, but girl, my husband good to me. I'm not leaving my husband. You do not love him. I know I slept with Monica. You know, girl, I know I did. You know, all men cheat. I don't care what they say. All men cheat. I love my wife. I hate to hear that. I love my wife. Yeah, I cheat. No, you don't. Because when it happens to you, it hurts. You don't like it. So you should not make someone you love hurt. When you love someone, you don't hurt them. Not deliberately. And cheating is a deliberate act. That's not a mistake. You do not fall out of your pants. Your panties don't shimmy on down around your ankles by themselves unless the elastic pop. But your legs don't spread by themselves. They don't just spread. You don't just fall back onto a bed on the back of a seat of somebody's car and your legs just pop open automatically by themselves. If so, you need to go to the hospital because something wrong with your muscles. You got involuntary muscle spasms because that does not happen. Having a relationship with someone outside of your marriage is not a mistake. That's why Christ said you can leave that sucker because it's not a mistake. You're deliberately doing something to someone. So you do not love a person. When you love someone, you sacrifice. You don't cause pain and suffering to someone that you love. You just do not. If he did not love this woman, he should have left her before he started having his extramarital affairs. But he didn't want to leave her because you know why? Because he knew that this is who's going to be by me. She's going to stick by me. And I can use her as a specimen. I can use her to build my platform. And you know how people have to, like you see these programs on TV where, like, for those of you who all know the movie The Fly, remember The Fly? He had to try out the potion. He had to try it out to see how it worked. So he shot the potion into himself and turned himself into a fly so he can be able to say that it works. Okay? This is what he's did. He cheated on his wife and then turns around and uses it to school women. And it worked. But he had to experiment and then turn around and use it. He's a mad scientist. You know, a mad scientist that just, he's a mad scientist. He is a person, he's a narcissist, and he does things, and then he does it, he acts it out, and then he gives it to other people. I'm going to act it out. I'm going to cheat over here on my wife, and then after I do everything that I did last night, and I'm going to get on the video, and I'm going to tell them not to let their spouses do this to them. But I did it last night. I have to try it out to make sure that it works and everything. And I have to be able to say now. And the one reason he could say don't let your husband do this because his wife was crying about it. His wife was crying about it. I'm sure they fought plenty of days about it. He knew he was hurting her. I'm sure he probably told her, well, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying. He's telling us women don't let our men do it. So therefore, he probably told her the same thing. You know, you don't have to go through this. You can leave. I'm sure when a man is mistreating you, they tell you, you can go, you can leave. If you don't want to take it, you can leave. But her self-esteem being so low, she ain't going nowhere. She's not going to go nowhere because right now she's dependent on him. And she's used to that behavior. You get attached to being abused. You become accustomed to it. So it's normal for her. Not to mention the lifestyle that they live. They have a lot of money. They have a big house. So a lot of times, a person don't want to give all that up. They take abuse, you know? And I know a lot of this is jumping all over the place, but I've been mentally abused. I've been emotionally abused, okay? Have I been physically abused? No. Thank God I have not. But I have been in situations where I was mentally abused and emotionally abused, okay? And that sometimes stings worse than a punch. At least you know you can recognize a hit, a kick, or a slap. But sometimes you don't know you're being mentally abused and emotionally abused. And if she's in a church that's telling her to stick by her man, they're giving her false doctrine, she doesn't know. She don't really think it's abuse. She knows she's being hurt, but she thinks all men do this. And that's just simply not true. All men do not cheat. I don't know where he at, but all men don't cheat. You know, all men don't cheat now. You know, I don't know where he at, but they don't. They don't. You know, I just don't believe all men cheat. There's some good men out there. You know, and I just hope she get her some help, and I hope she get out of it. I hope she gets strong enough, have her own YouTube channel, and I hope she see this video. I'm not trying to come down on you, Danae, but you don't have to take it. You do not have to take it. You don't have to stay with him. You do not. You need to divorce him, get your half of the money, and go on somewhere, give him visitation rights, and find you somebody else who's going to treat you the way that you should be treated. And stop looking at skin color. Normally, it's dark-skinned women, not all, but they have a problem with light-skinned women, you know? And now it's becoming that a lot of light-skinned women don't like dark-skinned women. It's ridiculous. Women are women. We should all stick together and help each other. It doesn't matter your skin tone. At the end of the day, you're still a human being, and it's only what God is talking to the inside of you. God does not care about the color of your skin. He created us the color. He created you light skin, me dark skin, you brown skin. He created it. So if you have an issue with the color, you need to talk to God. You know? There's no way that she can turn herself dark skin unless she paint her, unless she go black face. She can't, and she's not a high yellow girl herself. She's in the middle section. She's midsection. I wouldn't consider her to be a high yellow girl. And she has on makeup in the picture I showed you all. But she's not by far an ugly woman, you know. But when she came on video with him, she was really frumpy and her face was broken out. And she just looked like she had just been through the ringer. And I felt sorry for her. And she's saying that she's coming on there. She's feeling good about herself. But don't no woman want to come on camera in front of millions of people. She looked bad, and it's because of the abuse that she's going through. She has stressful acne on her face, and it's just horrible. You know, just don't let nobody mistreat you like that. I know this video was all over the place, but I wanted to come back and do a part 2. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know it was all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm repeating myself. I'm tired, but I hope you all do not leave yourself in situations like that. And if women, if you're watching my video, don't follow him. Work on your own relationship. Have your own relationship goals. Don't ever follow another couple because you don't know what they're going through. These women wanted to have relationship goals following him and his wife. And look what happened. He was cheating on his wife the whole time and lying to his followers about how good. And he never really told them that he was married, but he was just telling them how good of a man he was and how he would treat his women. You know? So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to say vielen Dank. That's thank you very much in German. So vielen Dank for watching me. And choose, that's what? That's bye in German.